Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Springer.
Oh, that is so. Did I actually? I never tell you that, but my alarm clock in the morning. It's I've got a recording that goes Jerry.
You do not.
And
do you really?
No, I don't really. But it's a great way to wake up.
I'm sure it would be.
Oh, yeah.
People cheering for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know that's probably out there, though. I promise you I could find a Jerry Springer ringtone.
Oh, look it up. That'd be great.
I bet
if there is one, do I get paid for that?
I should hope
Notice
so.
every question always is whether I get paid.
What's the guy with the business plan down
Well,
there
that
say?
could be part of our merch program coming up. It's part of our business plan that we're going to be selling merchandise and having a Jerry.
Yeah, Trump has
alarm
better
app.
business plans than
Yeah, I
I.
hear you. Trump University. I got my whole business plan from going to Trump University.
Oh, yeah.
But
That explains
Hey.
a whole bunch here, sir.
I hate to be kind of a Debbie Downer, but
Why?
this show I think we should dedicate at least the first part. We usually do a lot of goofing around. That's the tomfoolery part of the Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery. But I think that what we should do in this is something that's a bit more clinical, something that actually does some good for the world.
Well,
That's
and Jerry had a colonoscopy. First of all, let's give him a round of applause for the level.
Yeah.
Taking ownership of your health is a very
Why? First of all,
important thing.
why are you? All I did was bend over.
Yeah, all right.
Why am I?
Well, number one for doing it.
Ew.
Number two, that sounds ridiculous. Number two, but secondly, no, strike that. Strike that.
Start
from the
out on a
record.
high note for this podcast.
Secondly,
This is going to be horrible.
The fact that the clinical report includes that he did a fantastic job of cleaning his colon before the procedure.
Wow.
Yeah, this sounds
All that
so
Metamucil's
ridiculous.
finally
No,
kicking
man.
in. Huh?
This is horrible.
Now here's the deal. Let's
kinda
cut all the
personal.
joking.
Yeah.
Let's cut the joking. I went, and the reason I went is that I took a video team, and we videoed, and it will be on. We have to
And
do
that was-
some respectful editing first, but it will be on the website. But I took a.
That was disturbing.
Did that bother you to have the video crew?
I'm
there?
going in for something which, anyone
You
in my
never
age
know.
would be nervous. You don't know.
You never know.
So I'm nervous, and then all of a sudden, you walk in with a camera crew.
Yeah, we just felt that it was important to make sure, well, it was a lot of things. Make sure they did the procedure right. You are,
Like
after
you
all,
know.
an important celebrity. That you are getting your money's worth, that Obamacare is working well, you're getting good service, good health care. We also wanted, if there was a humorous moment there, we want to try to capture it as well. So nothing is above or below getting a good joke out of it. But anyway, so I did go. They required that I dress in sort of a hazmat suit with goggles and, a sort of a head shield and all that. So I did. And while I was there, I asked the doctor if the doctor would come on and tell us how it went. The doctor said, I don't do like jokes and podcasts and stuff. And so the doctor, of course, was professional enough to say.
Kind of private and personal.
Right.
What they, what they go in, and who knows what they find. But
Correct. And I respected that doctor
Oh,
for
of
that.
course you
The
respected
medical
it.
technician who ran the scoping tech devices, I don't know much about this. I comped her with some tickets for the TV show, and she agreed to come on, and we have her on the phone. And I just asked her to do one thing, because Jerry, we want to allow her to stay professional. And I just asked her,
he's on this podcast.
just read the report.
But my medical report on that?
Yeah.
Well, how did you get it?
Well, because I gave her some tickets for your show. But her name is Jennifer Elliott. I'm not going to say where this took place, Jerry. I'm not going to say
Well,
whether
it took
was
place where the
Chicago or
colonoscopy is.
No,
Oh, you mean-
no. I mean the location, because you have like 7 houses. So I'm not going to say which city it was in. But first, let me ask, Miss Elliott, are you with us, first of all?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, and Miss Elliott, I'm detecting a British accent.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And are you an American citizen? I don't mean.
It's none of your business, actually, but yes, I am legal and able to practice in the United States.
Okay, so she is an American citizen. And would you mind just reading the report? I think it's just one paragraph. But how did Mr. Springer's colonoscopy go? Because our audience is very interested to see if everything's fine.
Absolutely.
But just go ahead and read that, please.
No significant colonic masses or lesions were palpated. A variable stiffness adult colonoscope was then advanced under direct vision to the cecum without difficulty. Mr. Springer did require a lower left quadrant pressure for deep cecal intubation. Jerry's colon preparation was for the most part very good. Clear identification of the appendectical orifice as well as the ileal valve, careful examination of the colonic mucosa, and was then performed as the scope was slowly withdrawn.
Okay, thank you
Where
very
were
much.
you when all this was
I was
going
there
on?
with the camera. Thank you, Miss Elliott.
You're welcome. Very welcome.
I think she just did a service for America. No, I was there, and you'll see this when
You're
we
a
finally put it
pervert.
up. No. No, I was very uncomfortable the whole time, if you want to know
You
the
were
truth.
uncomfortable.
But I have to ask you a question, and this could have been the drugs talking when you said this to the doctor. But is the doctor, and they did an intravenous thing, I think they shot
Yeah, they
something
put
in your
you.
arm.
They put you to sleep.
So if people have never had one of these.
The last thing I remember is you standing there, and Mickey being kind of, frankly, she was a little disturbed.
But we're good friends. Mickey and I are
Good
good
friends,
too.
But you're coming in there with your camera, with the crew,
I know.
turning these lights on.
Why did you say to the doctor, and again, it could have been you were just in a kind of a drug haze as you were dozing off, but I heard you say to him, whisper to him, be careful, doc, you're going where no man or woman has ever gone before. I mean, did you think he was like Ponce
hell
de
of a
Leon
warning.
or something? Or just doing, probably does 30 colonoscopies a day and you're talking all, Lewis and Clark with him.
Yeah.
You're going where no one's ever been before. He's been up
Yeah.
the butts of a lot of people doing,
And now
that's
Jerry
what he
Springer's.
does.
Yeah, I was talking about this particular one. No one's been there.
Yeah. It was funny
Great.
when it was over.
Great topic for a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Megan, the doctor looked at Jerry was pretty much out, and the doctor said to Mickey, everything's fine. There weren't any, I guess, polyps or anything. There was nothing. It was all good. So again, good job on keeping your colon clean.
Again,
because
that Metamucil, man. You
I
can't get
have
enough
to
of
tell you,
it.
Jerry, as your best friend and hanging out with you, you eat a lot of crappy food. And I was pretty impressed that you can go 10 years and still come out of a colonoscopy well. So I was impressed
Gene,
with that.
we're going to talk about what hobbies you have then on the next podcast, so you don't have
Hey,
to travel
Megan.
to your friends' colonoscopies.
Yeah, it must have been a slow day for you.
Do you know what he said when he finally woke up
I
enough
can
where the
only
doctor
imagine.
could talk to him? He said, he pulled the doctor aside and he said, could you write a note from my wife who's standing over there saying that you didn't find my head up there? He said that
All
to
right,
the
we'll give
doctor.
you that one, Gene. That was all right.
So we had to go through a whole colonoscopy for that joke?
Yeah, well, it's what's called a setup.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Oh.
Hey, we talked on a previous podcast with your personal assistant, Jenna, and you made a commitment to come with a new joke now and then. Do you, by any chance, have
I'm
one?
waiting for then.
Yeah.
Because it ain't now.
No.
No, I don't have a new joke. I mean,
You have something that happened to you. That's actually not a joke, right?
yeah, I mean, it was, every year on my birthday, we go back to the old neighborhood. And I got to tell you, and Megan, you don't know this, I was raised in New York, tough neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I mean, and my school was, our neighborhood was so tough, my school paper had an obituary column.
Great
But
school.
bump.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, when we had for the yearbook, when we took, the class picture,
Yeah.
we had two. It was from the front and from the side.
This is still going on, huh?
It was unbelievable.
This whole joke still
bad,
happening.
Jerry.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Probably
But it
look
was
those
new.
up.
You know
Yeah.
what? It was new material. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah.
You know why some Republicans are going to vote for Hillary, though?
Why is that, Jerry?
Well, because they figure she's a woman, they can pay her less.
That's disgusting, but it's true. It's the sad
That's what the
part.
Republicans think.
That's what's so
don't.
sad.
Can I ask you a question, Jerry?
You better, because we got to.
Yeah.
Anything's better than
Got
a
another 45
colonoscopy.
minutes to go here.
Yeah.
Back in the 1970s.
Yes.
In a place that's just across the river from where we're sitting, because Ludlow, Kentucky is just across the Ohio River. We look at Cincinnati. You were, I don't know if you remember this, but you were the mayor of the city of Cincinnati.
Block the whole thing.
Was
You remember
I-
that?
Was that when I was having a colonoscopy and I was under? I don't remember that. Yeah,
No,
I
but
do
you were the
remember
mayor
that.
of the city of
Yes.
Cincinnati. That's a big deal. A lot of people don't know that who watch the Jerry Springer TV show. But you've been a mayor, you've been an Emmy Award-winning news anchor, blah, blah, blah. But you gave one time, as I recall, I believe I was there, the Eagles. Eagles
Oh, yeah,
were
that was-
huge back in the 70s. By the way, sadly,
Glenn Frey.
Glenn Frey's wife just died.
No, not Glenn Frey's wife.
Wasn't it his
Another
wife?
member.
Another member?
Yeah, not Glenn.
Wife died in
She'd
an
be
accident, a shooting in a home with a rifle
unhappy
just
for
went off accidentally. That's horrible. But back when the Eagles were, and they were like probably the biggest band, one of certainly in that
Yeah,
era.
of the 70s,
They
yeah.
came to Cincinnati, did they not? Tell us the story about how
Well, yeah,
they came, why they
this
came,
is
and
a
what
true
happened.
story. When I was running for mayor at the time, and I was really young, I was like 32 or something. So one of my political promises was that I was going to bring rock and roll to Cincinnati. Because for those who aren't from this area, particularly back then, Cincinnati was an incredibly conservative community. I mean, really, really, one of the between San Diego and Cincinnati were the two most Republican cities in America. And culturally, Cincinnati was very, very conservative. And somehow, but anyway, I was running for mayor. And back then, the idea of rock and roll was, oh, my God, that's drugs, hippies. We can't have any of that. Well, you know, I was young, and I enjoyed rock and roll, and I enjoyed all these bands. I mean, that was part of, you know, my generation. At the time, we had Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and was the big stadium on the river where the Cincinnati Reds played and the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, if you count up the games, the home games of the Reds, which is 81, and the home games of the Bengals, which comes to 8, okay, let's add 2 exhibition games, for example. What you're really dealing with is that about 250 some odd days a year, there's nothing going on at Riverfront Stadium. The stadium lay dormant, and taxpayers were paying for Riverfront Stadium. So even though I liked rock and roll, there was also the actual serious issue beyond that of saying we ought to use this stadium, which we are paying for, and not let it lie dormant for 250 days a year, nights a year, and have some activities there. And so I said, elect me and we'll bring rock and roll. We'll have Cincinnati's first outdoor rock festival. Well, I was elected mayor, and I remember the cartoon the day I got sworn in the Cincinnati Enquirer with Jim Borgman was a cartoon of me sitting there with the gavel, bring on the Stones, that kind of thing. So it became the issue. Now it's time for me to deliver. And I was a real fan of, well, truthfully, I had a crush, which Mickey permitted me to have, a crush on Linda Ronstadt. And I wanted to meet her. I'm 32 years. I want to meet Linda Ronstadt. So I figured, wouldn't it be great if she could host a rock concert? By the way, the city council was opposed to the rock concert. It was a big fight because the administration was worried about, you'll have all these kids down there. You'll have drugs. You'll have alcohol. They'll be smoking marijuana. There'll be, it was just, they painted just the ugliest picture of what could happen. And, but we fought it. So I wanted Linda Ronstadt to host this outdoor rock concert. So I called her up. I got in touch with her, found out how to do it. And, just as nice as she could be, but we couldn't work out the dates for that summer. This is the summer of 1978. But she says, maybe I could get you the Eagles, because remember, the Eagles were the band, the backup band for Linda Ronstadt when she first started out. First the Stone Ponies and then the Eagles. And so she got me in touch with the Eagles. And sure enough, we worked out a date with the Eagles. And it was August 16th, 1978, Riverfront Stadium, 60,000, mostly young people show up. The concert started at 2 p.m. It was the Eagles, Eddie Money, the Steve Miller Band, and it went all the way till 11 at night. Now, here's a side note to it. We obviously had a lot of the people out on the field, walking around. And the concert started at 2 p.m, and it's the middle of August. And Riverfront Stadium was AstroTurf, so you can imagine how blazingly hot during the day it would become. So I had what I thought was a wonderful idea. All around the ring of the field where the people were, where all the kids were, we had showers to keep people cool. No one believes me, but it turned out to be the world's largest wet T-shirt festival. I swear, I wasn't thinking of that ahead of time. It never dawned on me that that's what happened. And oh my gosh, by 2:30, it was heaven. So you had all these kids. It was unbelievable. Anyway, so we had the concert. There were no fights. I don't think there were any arrests. And I remember going on the air for several days ahead of time, and I would say, kids, don't bring liquor, don't bring, if we can have this really peaceful, we'll be able to have a lot more. But if there are incidents, if fights break out, if they start arresting you for drugs, we're never going to get another in the next 5-10 years, there'll be no more concerts. So come on, everybody, and everyone was cool about it. Honestly, there were no disturbances at all. So now the Eagles come on late at night, 9 o'clock, let's say, and then they do the last 2 hours. And there it is, a beautiful summer night in Cincinnati. The moon's out. It was just beautiful. And the Eagles are playing. And then towards the end, close to 11 o'clock, Glenn Frey goes to the mic and says, just want to thank Mayor Springer for inviting us here, bringing rock and roll to Cincinnati. I tell you what, Mayor, why don't you come on up? So I'm a young kid. This is great, man. I'm going to be on stage with the Eagles. So I come up on stage, and Glenn says, would you like, you want to sing a song with us? So like an idiot, I say, do you know Lying Eyes? Well, it's their song. Why wouldn't... And I remember, I think one of the other guys was saying, yeah, we know it. So the highlight of my mayoralty was getting to sing Lying Eyes with the Eagles in front of 60,000. And back then, remember, they had the lighters and they were swaying left to right. And I mean, it was just like, can life get any better than this? It was a great time.
That's very
cool. Yeah, so we bought, that was my story with the Eagles. And they became backers of me politically. I mean, they contributed nice sums of money when I ran in '82 for governor and all that. So they stayed, they were really cool guys.
I wonder if we shouldn't, on a serious note, try to make contact with any of them, any of them, to see if they would, or any one of them would come on, whether it's just a conversation over the phone, a quick interview, or whether if they were anywhere around here, on the basis of that having happened.
Right.
Yeah, that's
interesting. I never thought of that. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Yeah.
That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, talk about, because as we've mentioned before, we're now doing these podcasts live. Some people listen on the archive version. Some people listen live. So tonight's the night of the primaries involving Mississippi and Michigan and Hawaii, and I'm leaving one out. And now on the Republican side, let's just touch on the Republican side. The evangelical vote is a big deal within Republican primaries. It has been for at least recent years and probably for a long time. And Donald Trump goes after those votes, and it almost feels a little incongruous. Do you have some thoughts on that vote and Donald Trump? And
yeah, and it probably goes, and by the time people, obviously people that are listening to this live now, well, I know the people that are listening to this are live, but I mean, yeah. But if you're listening to the live broadcast of this or podcast of this, no matter where Trump is at the time you're listening to this, what has already happened is that Trump has, in particularly, in the states that have a large evangelical vote, which are the southern states and also in the middle there, Kansas and, Oklahoma, et cetera, Trump has won the evangelical vote. And there seems to be a disconnect there because of all the strengths that Trump has, you would think the one group that wouldn't tolerate his lifestyle or his history or his cursing or the bathroom humor or, 3 wives and whatever, you would think it'd be the evangelicals that would say, whoa, that is not our kind of candidate. This is not a, church-going, Bible-reading, whatever. And during the primaries, they had Huckabee, they had Santorum. They got almost anyone else in that race is more evangelical than Trump is. So why is he winning among these groups? And even if he doesn't win the rest of the primaries or whatever, it's certainly the states with the large evangelical vote have already voted. And he wins among that category of voter. So I thought about it. And here's, in one sentence, Trump is viewed by evangelicals, even though they may not articulate it that way, but I think his attraction for lots of groups is he's their muscle man. He's their protector. When I go to temple on the high holy days, there is always outside our temple security guards, hired security. And none of these guys are Jewish. None of these guys are following the religion that we're going to be, praying and talking about when we're in temple. But, some threats that are sometimes made at, houses of worship, Jewish houses of worship, for example. There's a comforting feeling that they're there and watching. And maybe that's what Trump is. In other words, they're not looking, evangelical voters are not looking for Trump to be their spiritual leader. They know what they believe. They're very comfortable with it. Their relationship is with God. And they don't need a politician to confirm their beliefs. What they're looking for is someone that is going to protect them, that is going to physically protect the country, protect them against the cultural things that scare them, that disturb them. We're not going to let the foreigners come in. We're going to have the wall. Don't worry. He's even said this in speeches. I'm going to put Merry Christmas back into the holidays, instead of Happy Holidays and all that. In other words, they just view him as their muscle man. They like to see him take on the establishment because for years they have been supporting the candidates that are spiritually and evangelically pure, that support their views, the Huckabees and the Santorums, and these guys go nowhere. And they're tired of backing these people that never get elected, to the top office. And even if they're elected, they're not going to do what they really want. What they want in these, what they view as scary times, is they want their protector. And they know that, he's going to be the muscle man to stop anybody threatening Christianity. Not because he believes, but just because he's the tough guy. It's like hiring security. And that's what they want in their president. They've given up on the notion that you're going to get a president that is honestly that religious, because they believe that they're all political and they're all going to sell out the first time there's an election or the first time there's a big vote. So they've moved on. And that's the attraction of Trump. They believe that he's Mr. Muscles and he'll take on anybody. He took on the Bushes. He'll put up the wall. He'll put Merry Christmas back into the holidays. He'll do whatever they want and let him believe what he wants. He's a hired hand. And that is the attraction. That's why he's beating these evangelical candidates who the voters are thinking can't win the election. America didn't vote for Huckabee, and they're not going to vote for him. And nothing against him personally. They just have no chance of winning. Santorum, no chance of winning. So they go with Trump. They want someone who they think will win and protect them. And they'll just deal with God themselves and with their own ministers. And that's the way they're going to do it.
Yeah. Hey, boy, this has been, and we're going to ask Elia Burkart to come up and take a seat at the microphones. We're going to hear some music, and as he's getting set up, man, this has been a fascinating cycle, and we still don't know where this is going to end.
No.
It's it really has been amazing. Do we have Elia? Oh, here we go, right here. Sorry.
While he's getting set up, there is a
telling
Jerry
me. There you
Springer
go.
ringtone.
There is a Jerry Springer ringtone? What does it go?
It's the Jerry chant.
Oh, it is that?
Yeah.
And is this, what is this, Megan, a
I just
ringtone?
Googled Jerry Springer
Please
ringtone.
call me.
Let's see what.
So you just put into your phone as a ringtone the Jerry Springer chant?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Oh, could play it
If
some
I could
more.
get everybody to do that, and then on the honor system, just hand me $10 as you leave, I'll make sure Jerry gets
He gets
most
his fair
of it.
share of it.
Fair share, yeah.
There you go.
Like he needs another dollar
Dollar,
from
right.
anything, you
Right.
know, Megan?
From you, especially, Gene.
We have Elia Burkart. Let's say hello to Elia. How you doing, Elia? And Elia is very active in the greater Cincinnati area as a musician and also a songwriter, and plays in a number of bands, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But would you do a song for us?
Sure. You mind if I tell a quick story about this
Please
one?
do.
This is a song that's based on a historical incident in the early 1930s. The U.S. Navy was working on like lighter than air technology, dirigibles and airships, and they built one in New Jersey and flew it down the eastern seaboard to Savannah and then all the way across the country to California. And they didn't tell anybody in advance that they were going to do this. And so I was reading about this occurrence, and I was just imagining what it might be like to not know that such a thing was going to come over the horizon. This was 500 feet long and 8 stories tall, silver. would have been a far out sight. So I wrote this song. It's called "The Airship." Well, I saw the airship floating in the sky. Beautiful morning, the sun was high. I let out a holler, couldn't believe my eyes. I saw the airship floating in the sky. Hoover came in, the heat was on. Had to leave Kentucky where I made my home. Headed westward with the setting sun and found myself in Prescott, Arizona. Bought a cabin and a mule from the old Bar L. Had a little stand of pine round the side of the hill. I used to ride down Sundays to the Palace Hotel. They'd buy the shine quick as it came out of the still. But the Depression came and we felt the crash. And they were starting to wonder how I made my cash. Started watching for a chance to make a dash. Started watching for a sign. I saw the airship floating in the sky. Beautiful morning, the sun was high. I let out a holler, couldn't believe my eyes. I saw the airship floating in the sky. Sparkled and shimmered at a steadily pace. I put down the bottle, I rubbed my face. I knew the day had come to get on out of the race, make my way back to the old home place. So I packed up the cabin, I hit the road. I knew I'd finally seen the sign I'd been waiting for, and it sure felt good to be on my way home with a brand new hat and a pocket full of gold.
Kentucky, where my grass is blue. But everybody takes me for a damned old fool. They say my brain is rotten, but I tell you true, that mule wouldn't tell no lies. I saw the airship floating in the sky. Springtime morning, the sun was high. Let out a holler, couldn't beat my eyes. I saw the airship floating in the sky. I saw the airship floating in the sky. I saw the airship floating in the sky. I saw the airship floating in the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Thanks.
That's Elia Burkart. But that's a good example of what can be an inspiration for a song.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's like maybe the most unique inspiration we've heard so far, just something you caught out of history and then tied it in with other stuff about the country as well. Hey, by the way, Elia performs with a number of groups. So you obviously play the guitar. I know you play the stand-up bass because you backed up Hootown Holler, and they've performed in our podcast.
That's right.
And you've performed with Cincinnati folk singer and his Uptown band, both with stand-up bass. And by the way, let me make sure.
My main ex,
All right, and I want the listeners to know, and Elia, you'll be part of this. We're starting something called Jerry Springer Radio.
Cool.
And it's going to happen on our website as we're doing a little bit of refurbishing of the front page, where people
Am I involved?
You are. And by the way, let's just say you recorded the lead into it. And you remember where we did that? We did it in New York City.
Oh, you're right.
In
Right.
in
Yes.
Jerry's limousine because it was like a sound booth, you know, and so we just shut down the engine and Jerry recorded. So here's what Jerry Springer Radio is. All the performers, including Elia Burkart, Hootown Holler, other people we mentioned, will be heard in a loop. It's kind of a Pandora radio concept. You'll go, and we've got the rights to play these because they all signed a deal with us. We're very happy about that. The trade-off is they get exposure. We get to play their music. And they'll be heard in a kind of a random loop. And we're up to, I don't know, maybe 80 performers, and the list is growing.
Wow.
Are you
So-
able to search the artist, Gene? Do you know?
You know, probably. I'm not a website guy, but I imagine that would be.
Interesting.
Do
That's
I
really
get
cool.
paid for this?
Oh, sure.
Sure, we'll say that.
Hey, by the way, Elia, let me ask you this, and we're going to ask you to do a second song. So I'm in here all the time. And the other day, you, Maria, and Joe were playing some music. And I've noticed on the sheet that Casey gave me, our music coordinator, Casey Campbell, that another group, a new band that you're a part of, is called Little Spooky, correct?
Uh-huh.
All right, so I think I heard them rehearsing. Did I not? Is that the group?
No,
or
that's
is this
not Little Spooky. That's Maria Corelli's group. And you heard us rehearsing because we're playing this Friday at Bogart's with the Tillers and Honey and Houston,
wow.
and a whole bunch of people.
Fantastic.
Good for you.
But that's not Little Spooky.
That's not Little Spooky. That's
Okay.
Maria's band. I don't know if she's got a name for it yet. I think it's just Maria Corelli and her band.
In her band, yeah. Maria's out there. No name yet.
She's here tonight, actually. We can ask
She's
her.
here. She's a barista. And by the way, they were doing Jerry and Megan. What was different about it is this band that we're referring to had an electric guitar that Joe was playing, and you, Elia, were playing stand-up bass. Maria was playing with her acoustic guitar. And when I came in, you were doing Stupid Cupid.
Yeah.
Which is a great rock and roll song, like
yeah.
Wanda Jackson,
1959. It was incredible, and it was sort of incongruous, but it's the charm of this place, by the way. If you're listening, we say this again and again. If you're ever in the greater Cincinnati area, the tri-state area, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, all come together along the Ohio River, you've got to come to the Folk School Coffee Parlor. There's stuff going on all the time. It's an amazing place. It is as wonderful as you imagine it. While you're here, I beseech you, ride the Ludlow City bus. Tell them that
What?
Gene Galvin sent you. Maybe they'll give you a discount, but
This
my
is
ads
just
I
absurd.
get
My
paid
ads.
based on ridership. So please ride the
but
Ludlow City bus.
So
Ilya,
you're
do it.
here a lot.
Pardon me?
So
You're here at the coffee parlor a lot.
Quite a bit. I really don't have.
You
a
don't
lot.
have much to do.
I
you?
have very little to do. No, I've
Every day I hear he's here.
Or he's
hanging out.
filming
I'm telling
colonoscopies.
everybody
it's really
now.
a simple
Yeah.
life.
Hey, listen, I got asked today to write an article for a major outdoor magazine.
Ooh,
I
good for
said
you.
I can't do it.
Because?
I work for the Jerry Springer podcast. I was asked the other day to write a major article for a Cincinnati magazine, and I told the truth. I don't have time. I'm working on the business plan and the production of the Jerry Springer podcast.
There's no business plan.
No, there's not.
There's
even,
not.
not even close.
Business plan is, Jerry, could you send me another check?
I need some more money.
That's
There's
actually
your business
true.
plan. The business plan
the
has
truth.
my phone number.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, yeah,
Right?
The business plan.
Jerry, we need more money.
yeah, it's a good point. Elia, save me, brother. Do a song. Get me out of this. Now, would you do a second song?
Sure. I'm going to change gears a little bit. This is a love song. The story behind this one is that my girlfriend and I...
Did she call you from Cleveland?
No, we both grew up here in Cincinnati, actually. We've known each other for a really long time. We were both born in the same year, and in the Chinese zodiac, that's the year of the rabbit. And so we're both rabbits. I wrote this song. It's called The Rabbit Song.
I would grow my ears long for you and hop as high as I can. I would keep my legs strong for you. I'll be your rabbit, I'll be your man. We could lay in a clover patch, touch my whiskers to your cheek, watch the clouds rolling over past. Rabbit, you're the one for me. We could go ravishing the vegetable gardens in the morning when the sun is shining on the dew. And we will have radishes, asparagus, and chard again in the springtime when all the world is bright and green and new for me and you. Would you burrow down deep with me, where the nights will stay warm? Would you lay down to sleep with me? A little rabbit, let me keep you in my arms. One day when we're old and gray, hopping over the hill, I will nuzzle your nose and say, little rabbit, I love you still.
Good song.
Very nice.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
You're a good writer, Elia. You're
Thank you very
and
much.
very versatile. That's good material. We appreciate your coming by and sharing those with
I'm
us.
so happy to be here.
Would you take us out on Irene Goodnight, and would you let Jerry Springer, the TV talk show host, sing a verse with you?
Jerry, do you know Lion Eyes?
We're going to have that on here in the near future.
Where was it written down? You have a personal assistant?
Last Saturday, I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife, we are parted. And I think I'll take a stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene.
Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in that river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night.
You've been listening to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, recorded live at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky. Thanks to Patrick Kennedy for writing our opening song, and to you for listening. Check out our website at jerryspringer.com.
You all come back now, you hear?